to address. So, but we'll get right into it. So let me first go to our host, Mr. Derek Scott, who is with this chair of the Scammon Democrat Party. Mr. Jill Lewis Daggs, who is with the Okaloosa Democrat Party and others. Jamil Davis, who is with Black Voters Matter, and Mr. Vernon Watson, where you'll be watching this program on WBQP TV, Roku, Firestick, and YouTube, and of course our Facebook pages. Uh, we get right into it, Derek.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We will go into our normal host roundtable where we give you information that we need to know for this upcoming week, last 2 weeks of the year. So I'll start with you, Mr. McIntosh. Do you have anything that we need to know?
We got Move for Change has an election coming up this year in January. We will elect new officers and the ones that want to stay on the board. And of course, I'm running for the president of the organization again. And hopefully, we have a great election this year and a great year of doing the work that need to be done, and also helping people with their civil rights, of course, but also getting out the votes and helping people to understand what they need to do to register to vote and to make sure we get them to the polls to vote. So that's the goal. That's one of the goals this year. Of course, we intend to start back our spelling bee. You know, during COVID, we ended the spelling bee because we could not gather, but we are intending to come back with our spelling bee and our essays programs. Back to you, Derek.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Vernon, do you have anything that you need to share for today?
No, Derek, I don't have anything.
Anything with the radio station you want to share?
Yeah, I guess I could talk about that. I'm not gonna be on the show tonight because I've been doing some other stuff here and I'm not presentable. But yeah, I got the new. I just want to pass on the concept of the new WBQP radio, what I call radio. You can see that is in addition to am I on? Yeah, my mic is working. That's in addition to the WBQP TV. If you want to, if anybody can get it, anybody got a cell phone or computer, whatever, you can get it. This link here, a very easy link, is just rdo.towbqp. Okay, and you can definitely get it anytime and anywhere. Okay, anytime and anywhere. And if you use that link, you would have advantage to both the television station and the radio station. So if you get tired of listening to the TV, you can watch the television. And by the way, my radio station is what I call radio can see. That means you'll be able to see the music videos, the artists who playing the songs and stuff like that. Okay, so it's very akin to a TV station, but it's TV and radio combined. We did start the morning. I'm trying to continue the legacy that Robert Hill started years ago. Okay, I'm trying to continue that legacy, and I'm going to try to stick to as close to his format as I can. So the other station didn't want to. They're not apparently community orientated, so they dropped a lot of the traditional formats that the legacy that Hill had built over these years, and I'm trying to regain that back. So if anybody got any information they want to pass on to the community, PSAs and stuff like that, stuff that's going on in the community, please do so, and I'll start. So you check me out every morning from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Monday through Fridays. I'm not going to be on Wednesday and Thursday this coming week, but I'll be back Friday. I'll be on tomorrow and Tuesday. Be off for the holiday for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but I'll be back on Friday and then continuing it on. We're going to try to bring the gospel back as well on the radio side. We're going to bring some of the blues shows back on the radio side that you were used to hearing. So the radio station is really still work in progress, but I need y'all help to just make sure you get the word spread it out, and so we can have something we can call our own. Okay, that's all I got, Derek. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Okaloosa County, Jody Staggs, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening, everyone. I am excited to be here. I will go over just a couple of things. Okaloosa County got together for their DEC, and although the chair didn't call a meeting, still our body is interested in doing the work for Okaloosa County and getting people together to celebrate this year and looking forward to what's going to happen next year. So we did that this week. We were also able to join Escambia County's fabulous put together for their holiday party. And if you check out Facebook, you'll see some movements from the chair, Mr. Derek Scott, and Hale and others. And I will give a shout out to Hale. I went up to her and told her, you know what, when you can get young people that normally there was 12-year-old and then another friend of ours that was there, and they were in their seats having a good time. So I said, look over there, you see them? And so we know that the young people are our future. So we just thank Escambia County for the hard work. Want to give a shout out. I don't often tell Derek in public, thank you, and that we appreciate you. I tell him all the time, but it's different, I guess, in public to say, you really just stepped in there. I remember when you made the call. I remember calling Lil and saying, Derek can do it. But I also remember calling you like, I'm not sure. I don't know. And although it's a position I would never do, I gave him the positives, the negatives, and he was like, I guess I'll try. And you have really transformed with the help of others and the community. And of course, shout out to Gabe Alamont and her team, because without them, none of us would be able to get the stuff done. To Jamil, you've always been there for us. This is my whole thank you, everybody. To Jerry, to Vernon. It's just been an honor and a blessing to see everybody move in the space together, especially in a time where you can often feel left out or overwhelmed. To Vanessa and the Air Force Pack, truly, we wouldn't be where we are. Escambia wouldn't have been blue. There were so many people that came to work, but it was that strategic plan that was put into place. And Santa Rosa wouldn't have done so well, and Okaloosa wouldn't have done so well if it wasn't for the team that's often here and those behind the scenes. And so I truly just want to say thank you. I know Christina's coming on. We haven't seen her in a little while. She has a lot of stuff going on, and I believe she's going to be here this evening. So thank you to her as well. And I look forward to the work that has to be done, but the fun that we will make it because we'll be doing it together. So, so much. Yes.
In addition to your lighting and your background, everything looked beautiful tonight on your set there.
Thank you. I thought you were going to say, but I can't hear you or something.
No. I just want to compliment you on the setting. It looks beautiful. Your background is gorgeous.
Thank you. That's all I
remember. He said, in addition to.
In addition to.
Flattery gets you everywhere with me, Jerry. That's what I tell them. So, really, though, everything looks beautiful as well as you, Jill. And Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. If I forget to tell everybody, Merry Christmas, okay?
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Merry Christmas. I'll hand it back to you, Mr. Scott.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jamil Davis from Black Voters Matter. Good evening. Do you have anything that folks in this part of the state should know, need to know, or be preparing for as they move forward into 2026?
Good evening. Good evening. Salutations to all. I appreciate, of course, being on the broadcast. So first things first, we are out of office as of Friday. Um, Friday was our last day in office and work. We are out of office. Black Voters Matter, the entire organization, is out of office until January the 12th, which is very, very convenient. That was not done on purpose. That was just literally the date that we decided that we were going to come back. And the reason I say it's very convenient is because it's literally the day before the first day of legislative session in Tallahassee, Florida. And so literally that's how my first week of work is going to go. I'm going to come back in office. I'm going to clear out things because a lot of other organizations are actually going to be coming back the week before we do. So I'm going to be clearing out emails and all that other good stuff. And then the very next day, that Tuesday, January the 13th, I'll be getting in the car and heading to Tallahassee to join for the first day of legislative session. And of course, I think we all know that this is going to be a very pivotal legislative session. We're going to actually see if the blame duck tactics are going to work in this year's session for us to be able to block a lot of this awful, egregious pieces of legislation that your friend and mine, Governor Ronald Dion DeSantis, is going to try to get passed. I know Jill. Jill does that every time I say it. It's funny. But
Is his name really Dion?
say it again.
Is his name really Dion?
Literally, his
Okay.
middle name literally is Dion. Shout out to the ever awesome and wonderful. Shout out to the ever awesome and wonderful state representative Michelle Rayner. That is the first time that I ever found out what Ronald DeSantis's middle name was, and it's hilarious to me every time.
Don't forget to put Satan in there.
Yes, absolutely. That should actually be his other middle name. But no, no. This has been a great year. I know we're probably gonna get more into it as we get into the broadcast, but this has been a wonderful year. Not just in the state of Florida, but specifically in the panhandles. A lot of things has been going on great. Not just in the regional front, but in each of the counties. And I'm looking forward to really diving in more into this conversation.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Well, certainly to piggyback off of what Joe said, we have Friday night, the Escambia Democrats were able to have their holiday mixer, which took place Friday night. I want to give a special, huge shout out. If you're looking for a place to host or have an event, I always would tell everybody to go to Principal Improv Event Center with our wonderful friends, Doug and Tony Baldwin, over at the Improv. They hooked it up, and it was a very, very nice event. It started off, I was a little bit worried at the beginning, so I was like, oh, Lord, ain't nobody here. But we ended up doing pretty well for the night. Shout out to Hale, DJ Hale, for giving us all of our musical selections and interludes during the quiet times, and even as we were doing stuff during the night. So I understand why she is always booked and busy, right? Because she does her thing. And thank you to Dondre for being our bartender for the evening. I think a lot of people left there very nice. So we thanks to Dondre for doing that. But it was a pretty good time, you know. And I just want to give. We had a couple ways to say thank you, but I just wanted to share what we did at that night. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's had a hand here locally in making the Northwest Florida Panhandle what it is. Special shout out to our partners with Engage Y'all and the Air Force PAC. Without the Air Force PAC, We've never been able to do what we did here in the Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and engage y'all for setting us up for future success. To our clubs and caucuses, thank you to those. And to our media partners with WBQP and Sunshine's Corner, we say thank you. And more importantly, thank you to the viewers, thank you to those volunteers, and thank you to the voters for actually going out and doing what you needed to do this year, for not sitting around and letting politics do you, but you actually doing politics. And for that, we want to say thank you, and we look forward to a successful 2026 as we move into that cycle. Just as the FYI, the Escambia, the Santa Rosa, and the Okaloosa Democratic Black Caucuses are in their membership drives. If you would like to become a member, you can reach out to myself for Escambia County, Christina Forrest for Santa Rosa County, and Jill Lewis Dabbs for Okaloosa County. They can tell you, I'll tell you how to join. Membership rates, I think, are the same for all three of our chapters. If you are 65 years of age and above, it is $30 for your annual membership. If you are a student, it is also $30. And if you are below 65, between 18 and 64, it is $50. It is a great organization to be a part of. The help is needed and be a vital part of what we have going on during the Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, and Okaloosa County Democratic Black Caucuses. Also, just to start preparing everybody, on February the 4th, in Tallahassee, Florida, Equal Ground will have their annual day at the Capitol. This year, they are also doing it in conjunction with NAACP for the state of Florida. So if you are interested in traveling to Tallahassee, that would be a great time. If you've never been to see how government works in Tallahassee or get an understanding of sitting in a session, this would be a great time. If you're interested in meeting with one of your representatives, either Michelle Salzman, Alex Andrade, Nathan Boyers, what's that man named? Pat Manning, any of those folks, or Don Gates, the senator, this would be a great opportunity to go and have your voice heard. We have free buses, so you don't have to worry about transportation. Buses will be departing from Pensacola, and certainly, I'm assuming, making stops in Escambia County, and Okaloosa County, and Walton County. As we always do, the bus will depart here in Escambia County at 3 a.m. in the morning. So it is an early day, but they're doing it to make sure you get there in time to have the entire day for the event. So if you are interested, please make sure to stay tuned for a little bit more of that. We will invite Genesis as the new year, as we turn into the New Year's. Genesis Robinson, who is the executive director of Equal Ground Action Fund, will come and share a little bit more about what they have going on and how you can be a part. But Mr. McIntosh, Jill, myself, and Jamil have all participated for several years now, and it is a great time. And this would be an opportunity, if you've never been with us, to join us. We always have a great time. We don't ride the bus; we go a day early. You can always go a day early and spend the night, and then go the net and stay park, because it's actually they're doing a 2-day track this year. This would be an opportunity for you guys to participate. So certainly, I would say, if you're interested, please join us. We'd love to have you. Love to go as a group and have a robust group of individuals from the Northwest Florida Panhandle to join us in Tallahassee. So I think that concludes everything. I know Christina said that she was going to be joining us a little late as she was still out and about. So we will move on. I asked Mr. McIntosh, I asked Jamil to join us again, and also Jermaine, you may not have been able to make it, to kind of continuing the conversation we started at the end of the show last week, but we started it with like 4 minutes left. And that's us talking about looking at what the political landscape looks like in 2026 regarding the candidates. Of course, as you know, there are several candidates or offices that are up for election in 2026. And now is the time for us to begin talking about what those are. I'm going to just briefly put up those offices so everybody, mine, of course, is just for the Escambia County. We're going to have to put together something for Santa Rosa and Okaloosa as well. But it has the top offices, which is what I want to share. For the most part, we want to talk about, which is the governor's race, the U.S. Senate race that's currently held by Ashley Moody, Attorney General by whatever that man's name is, the CFO, and the Commissioner of Agriculture, as well as our congressional district now. Those are the seats, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that the Northwest Florida all have in common. So when we start talking about what that looks like, we start talking about last week about the front runners, and but we kind of got short change because we ran out of time, and that was who's running in the gubernatorial race for the state of Florida. And if I could, I just wanted to share some of the, I'm going to take it because I am a Democrat. I'm going to tell you who the Democrats who are running. Of course, the front runners are Jerry Demings, who is the mayor of Orlando, and David Jolly, who was a representative in Congress several years ago. There's Faith Antonio and Evelyn Castillo-Brach, Richard Dubrinsky, Thomas Fernandez, and Dana Marie Foster, who is a Black woman, Donald Peterson, and Bill Slater. Those are the folks who are on the Democratic ticket who are running for governor. If I spent time running through the list of the Republicans, we'd be here for a while because there are a ton, as well as also independents and write-in candidates as well. So this is historic because we are first time that there are Black folks on both sides of the aisle vying to be the governor of the next governor of the state of Florida. Mr. McIntosh, what say you in this race?
As I said the other day, it's going to be for Demings, it's going to be an uphill battle because of even too many Democrats here, that's not Black or not willing to vote for a Black Democrat, and that's unfortunate. That is like that. But I know he's gonna have to raise a lot of money to get name recognition here in the state of Florida. And the state of Florida is an expensive state to run in. But if he got a savvy social media person, that person should be putting out information every day about Demings. If he has that person, because a lot of the younger people are on social media. And there was a poll taken, was it last week or week before last, said more people are getting their news from social media than they are some of the top television station combined. So that means that there's a lot of money, whoever runs social media, he need a paid person to do that, to make sure that information is put out there every day on what his policies are, his position papers and all of that, the direction he think the state ought to be going, and what he see as the Achilles heel, I guess, of the state of Florida, and how he can help redirect that. And also, he's going to have to overcome being a police officer, along with other things, because there are Black people who hate police officers, and with good reason. But by the same token, we have to have, as you said so often there, if you don't do politics, politics will do you. So we have to make sure that people understand the interworkings of politics, both inside and out.
Yep.
But that's my feeling on Demings. He gonna have to. It's gonna be a it's gonna be an uphill battle. And what's one thing we hit on last week, course, was uh, what's the white guy
David
that's
Jolly.
running, huh? That's
David
running at the
Jolly.
top of the ticket.
David Jolly.
Jolly, yeah. One thing you hit on, we hope that it's somebody that's turned Democrat just to win, just to hopefully win, and then to flip back and use Republican tactics and policies. I hope that's not the case. If he happens to win, and we want to wish Deming well. Hopefully, he can overcome some of the obstacles that's going to be pushed out in front of him. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. Jamil, what do you say?
Okay. So, as we all know, there's numerous news stories that have been printed, published, all the things around David Jolly literally considering running as a Democrat for governor as early as April, like April of this year. Like I don't mean April from past years ago, April now. And then actually switched over to be a Democrat the very next month, May. So it was like April. I'm thinking about it. May. Oh, let's do this. And like I have my. I'm not even gonna say I have my reservations. Like I'm just gonna be very upfront about it as if I was on my own show. Like this, no, this is not. So we dealt with the same situation in 2022, and we had an individual who, granted, was a Democrat a little bit longer than 3 minutes, but like we still were in a situation of you were this, now you're this. You also, speaking on former Representative Jolly, you also were an individual who voted in opposition to the Affordable Care Act. You also were an individual who voted in favor of abortion restrictions while you were a congressman. So I think I said this on last week's show. Individuals are going to really have to be prepared when the campaign trail gets heavy duty next year. And I'd be prepared to start having these real deal conversations. Like if you can't dodge conversations. Don't listen to these. Don't listen to these outsource consultants who are going to come from other parts of the country to tell you how to organize in Florida, and they only been in Florida for 5 minutes. You have to start having the uncomfortable conversations. The same with Mayor Demings. You were an officer. You were the head of the Orlando Police Department. You then were also the head sheriff of the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Both established organizations had many officers who had infractions written up on them while you were over both established organizations. So this is another situation of you're going to have to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations. But it's going to be key for these candidates to have those uncomfortable conversations as we're walking into the August primary, for us to be able to choose the right person that is going to be a formidable opponent versus the, the person that we pretty much all sitting on this call assuming is going to be the presumptive Republican nominee for the governor of Florida, which is Byron Donalds. Like, let's be clear, this man has a whole endorsement from the president of the United States. His only other competition probably is the speaker currently at this moment is the former speaker of the House, David Renner. I mean, yes, there are many other names that are on that docket, as Derek so politely said at the beginning. If he read all the names for the Republicans, we'd be here recording 3 episodes tonight. But yeah, no, like, we all know it's gonna be Byron. It's if you ride down I-10 like me, coming from Jacksonville, going to either Tallahassee or going to y'all, if you ride down I-10, there is this big, huge tractor hitch that normally bees on the big, huge trucks. And that tractor hitch always has whatever person who owns that, the candidate that they're supporting for governor, or the candidate they're supporting for president. And that tractor hitch already has on it Byron Donalds for governor 2026. The writing's already on the wall. It's Byron Donalds' campaign, Byron Donalds' election to lose, as far as the primary goes. Now, once we get to the general, that's when the work starts turning up to maximum volume, and then we have to really be concerned about voter turnout. Because once you get to the general, it's no longer about just the issues. It's who's turning out the most voters and who's putting up the better optics as far as the campaign is concerned. Just like Mr. McIntosh said, whoever is running these people's social media when it comes to the Democratic candidates, they better get on their game, and they better figure out how to make their candidate look good going into the August primary.
Good.
What they said, I'm just trying to see where my mind went as you were breaking that down. I'm thinking, so would the state of Florida, if Jerry Demings wins and you have Byron, what do we think would happen? Because that's my first thought was, is Trump just doing this to make us think that? Because I just can't imagine that that's really what he wants, unless he has such there just has to be a reason. Like, his lieutenant governor has to be somebody, so when he gets rid of him, there has to be something, because I just know who Trump is. But if they were both there, what would the state of Florida do? Because they had such a difficult time voting for Kamala. Would they just not go vote? And so then what Jamil said would be absolutely true. It will be whoever gets out the most votes and who can get into the NPAs and explain to them why it's better for this person or that person. David Jolly got in the race and hit the ground. Many people who have seen him so far, of course, at that time, they thought that was the only candidate because there wasn't really anybody else. Everybody doesn't follow the list and know that there's 8 different people in the race. So they're looking for top runners. And at the time, because he was moving through the state, I think people thought, oh, okay, David Jolly and what he's saying is good. So I would say this. The first time I heard him, I was hold on a second. I was more, I'll say for a second, I was impressed more so than I thought I would be. Scene going in my house. I don't know how to stop it, but anyway, I got a new Roomba and it's just doing all this stuff. But then as you sit there and you listen and you ask those hard questions, it's a turn. You know what I mean? It's never like that was brought up because I researched on purpose. And I was like, wait a minute, this is the same person who said that he was not doing this and that he was against this. And now you're up here saying, oh, you want to listen to the people and that this, and he just kind of twisted through it. There's got to be, somebody said this, and I don't remember who it was who said, and I'm going to say it because they said it, are the Democrats that desperate or that stupid? Somebody said that, and I went, what a question. Because you can rest assured, the one thing that we absolutely know is that if this happened in the Republican Party, that person would be sitting down and shutting up because there is no way in the world of life that the Republicans would pick a Democrat that just switched over to Republican to be at the top of the ticket. They would never do it. I'm not saying, I can't tell you who's going to win, who's not going to win. Just, we do have to think about it. And then you have to also ask, okay, Mayor Demings, why'd you wait so long?
Yeah,
and then when you waited so long, why aren't you hitting the ground running across the state, not in your either comfort zone or where everybody tells you to go? If you didn't learn anything from Val running in the Northwest Panhandle and over, I would say, till you get to Jacksonville, some people didn't even know who she was. So since they didn't know who she was, they really don't probably know who you are. And then if you just hear the bullet points, you got Jolly, that was a Democrat, now for what?
Yeah. Maybe.
8 whole months, maybe. Well, if you're right, it's 7 months. He's been a Democrat for 7 months. Now, what I will tell you is he's polished because he used to be a Republican and MPA in another party. He should have it all put together because he's been some of everything. So what you're seeing is somebody who knows how to twist, how to turn, how to say, I'm going to listen to the people. I was first concerned with, I want to listen to everybody and I just want to do what you want me to do. But if you listen to everybody, what do you do when you have conflicting sides? You got to make a choice. So what choice are you going to make if you're listening to everybody? But I'm not quite sure. I mean, the other people are in the race. They seem to be tied. They did that poll that said they were tied. I probably could believe that. I know Jolly got in early. He's pulled some of Black clergy and some prominent people. He keeps throwing Gwen Graham up there. A Jolly Graham ticket does not do a thing for people of color at all. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with that. And then I don't know what would Jerry do, because the ticket, whoever it is that wins in August, has to be strong enough to compete with Byron and whoever they have. And rest assured, they've already thought it through. Theirs isn't like us where he's already committed to get Trump's endorsement. You had to already say, okay, I'll have this person. It's already written. But we don't do that. We don't already write it. We don't even put people in a room and say, you got to get it along. There's just some things that could have happened to make other times stronger. So I think it's going to be how well they answer those questions, and how well and what plan you have. So I find it interesting that people and I'm only talking about David Jolly only because Sherry hasn't been up here, but that people were like, yeah, this is great. And I'm like, well, what's he going to do about this? 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 Because that is not in his speech yet. So how can somebody be great if you don't know what they're going to do? If you have no plan yet, or you haven't presented a plan yet, then we shouldn't be buying in just because they came to visit us, although we do appreciate it because sometimes we don't get candidates. But just coming and talking, if you have no plan, because he's got to be strong, whoever wins, he or she, whoever it is, has to be strong enough to break through where we know Florida is.
And we have and this is the real okay, so this is the real conversation I would like to have. And I'm not saying that we don't have real conversations here, because we definitely do. But this is the real conversation I would like to have. Can we have the conversation of, ever since 2018, how the Florida Democratic Party has been very hesitant to find a formidable Black candidate or candidate of color that they could put at the top of the statewide ticket? Because as we all know, once we grab our ballots next year in November, the top of the ticket is going to be this U.S. Senate race, and whoever is running against Ashley Moody, because Ashley Moody is all but said and done being the Republican nominee, because she already in the seat. So, can we have the conversation around, ever since 2018, and the fact that you had someone that came to, like, what, 30 something thousand odd votes away from being the governor of the entire state of Florida? You don't have the forewithal or the guts to find a formidable candidate that you know is going to bring together every group that you need in order to even get close to 2018 numbers. Like, 2022 should have been proof that the Republican turned Democrat experiment that the FDP wants to run, that 1.5 million. That was how much Charlie Crist lost to Ron DeSantis. It was either 1.2 or 1.5. I know it was the ones. A 1 and a million next to it. So I'm not saying it outright has to be someone Black. I am saying it has to be somebody who you know is going to bring in a considerable amount of MPAs, since we're on this, and I'm just speaking from the space of the Democratic Party, because I'm here representing Black Voters Matter, and it's a C3 organization. Let me get my disclaimer, at all times, even though I'm on vacation. This situation that we want to do now, and possibly bringing in MPAs to be able to vote in the primary, which, we all have our differing views on that. But do we have a candidate that can bring in MPAs? Do we have a candidate that can bring in the moderates? Do we have a candidate that can bring in the progressives? Do we have a candidate that can bring in Black people? Do we have a candidate that can bring in rural Blacks? And do we have a candidate that can bring in 18 to 30 18 to 35-year-olds, because all progressives aren't 18 to 35. For some reason, the moment you say the word progressive, you are kids. We talking about the kids. It's some actual 55 and over progressive individuals who, like, because that's the other thing. We always like to say that Black people vote progressive but live their lives more conservative, and a small percentage of that is true, but I know some actual 55 and over individuals who understand that this country could actually do universal health care. Like, and we want to speak at it from a statewide perspective. This actual state could do Medicaid expansion. This actual state could do an actual livable wage that doesn't incrementally go up every year to 2 years until we get to $17 an hour, which is a wage that, is peanuts in comparison to what inflation is right now. So going back to my original question, why is it that the Florida Democratic Party has not wanted to fully invest in a formidable candidate that can bring together every facet, but we want to continuously go after the imaginary Republicans that we can pull over and MPAs that we can pull over? Because let's be like, let's stop sugarcoating this. Let's stop pussyfooting around this. Let's be honest and let's be for real. The imaginary Republicans and the imaginary MPAs do not exist. They don't exist. And the imaginary MPAs don't exist because y'all not actually giving them a candidate that they can be like, ooh, I might actually want to vote for them this time around. So, because that was my last thing I was going to say. Because here's the thing, and I'm not going to name people's names because I don't want to put them out on Front Street like that. And my relationships and actual genuine friendships with some of these people, I don't want to do that. I know certain people, I know people who look like us, that if the Florida Democratic Party would actually seriously take this situation serious of putting one of their people in the governor's mansion, would have jumped at the opportunity to run this race. And before y'all said, no, it's not the person that we all thinking about that has been, not that person. But there are other of us that look like us who could pull those people that seriously would have thought about this, seriously would have considered it, or has seriously considered it. But they just know that the party in and of itself aren't going to invest in any way, shape, form, or fashion into making them the formidable front runner against a Byron Donald, who we all know the only reason Byron is being put up is because he's Black, he's going to do the bidding of Donald Trump, and MAGA loves him. And until there is some sort of outright, just outlandish conspiracy that affects outlandish controversy that affects MAGA, the state of Florida is always going to be MAGA country. So that's my spiel and my question. So.
Well, let me. What I want to do is just for those who have not seen, for our viewing audience who has not seen either of these individuals, I'd like to just give you a small snippet of their promo announcements so that everybody has an understanding who it is. That hurt my heart.
So I know one of the reasons why Derek was laughing and Jill had that look on her face close to the end of the video. But we'll leave that alone. We'll just go ahead and look at David Jolly's
So
announcement.
here's here's David Jolly's address. Oh. Hold on, we're gonna try this again. Okay, maybe we're not. Sorry, his video don't want to seem to. Let's try it one more time. It's not working, so we're gonna move past. We'll see David Jolly another time.
Yeah. Maybe that's a metaphor for something.
Derek, you think you're slick.
And that's why Jerry McIntosh is one of my mentors. That comment right there.
Camille asked you a question and you showed videos. You need to answer the question.
Yeah. Well, first of all, did you see Lydia and Judy and all those folks on the video?
That was my reasoning for saying I understood why
I grimaced at that last face. The lady who got knocked knees and her eyes going straight. But
I saw her too. Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna move past that. So going back, wait, what was my question? Oh, what did I think?
No, that's not the question. The question is, he asked, why does the Florida Democratic Party not?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, in the limited experience that I have, I don't know why you're giving this to me, Joe, because you've been there longer than me. Trying to make me say something, but I think in my opinion, in the limited experience that I have, this will only be my second gubernatorial race in the party apparatus. I don't think that Florida Democratic Party invests in anyone to be a front runner. I just, it always seems to be like, okay, this is the candidate. This is the candidate. I think they may give, at times, in my opinion, preferential treatment, but I don't ever see an investment. I didn't see an investment into in the last race with Chris and Freed. I didn't see it there, and I didn't see once Chris was after the primary. I don't know that I saw an investment to get him over. And I don't know, like, with respect to Black folks, that's a completely different issue. I mean, we still got issues with white Democrats not wanting to support Black Democrats, you know, so.
That's the thing. Like, that's one of the pieces that I'm getting at. It's not so much like, I guess, financial investment or investment within the infrastructure, so to speak, but just outright, just like support. Like,
yeah.
So that, I mean, if we go back to 2018, and I was having this conversation with a couple of friends of mine, if we go back to 2018, the actual race that everybody was set up for was Gwen Graham versus Putnam. That was supposed to be 2018. Ron DeSantis went and begged, whether through commercials, whether through tweets, he begged, like got on his knees and begged for Donald Trump's endorsement. Trump finally gave it to him, and that's how we got DeSantis. The Miami gubernatorial debate between all of the Democratic nominees, where a member of Dream Defenders got up and asked who was going to take money from Geo Group. And the only person who outright said they weren't taking money from Geo Group was Andrew Gillum. And that's how, and that's when the tide shifted. And that's how we got Andrew Gillum. Because like 2018, the race was set up to be Putnam versus Gwen Graham. We were all of us in this state. We were all ready for it. We was all trying to figure out, how are we gonna make these people go and vote for Gwen Graham for the governor for the governor of Florida? And we were set for it till Gillum shifted the whole thing. And we still did. This is what I saw. We still did not get any real, like, investment from the party. When I say investment from the party, I don't really mean financial stuff. I don't really mean infrastructure stuff. Just outright, this is who we're supporting. This is who we're riding with until maybe early mid-October. Literally early mid-October. And the primary was over with in August. So we still had 2 months before the party was like, and it wasn't even like, oh, this is who we're supporting. It was like, oh, this is him.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny because two-sided. I would tell you that might be in Miami, how you guys saw it. The Geo thing. For us up here, it was that he came and that he was able to move black, white, purple, pink, young, old. It was just something about him. He had that it factor. He actually listened. He had answers. So for us, it was that he went to the tiniest. He went to Walton. He went to Santa Rosa. He went to Okaloosa. He went to Scambia. Not once, twice, 3 times, whatever it took. But you could see that it was everybody. When he
that was the other thing that I was going to legitimately bring up also. Until we get to like late September, early October, when he started listening to these consultants that came from out of town that don't know nothing about the state of Florida, throughout his entire campaign, whether it was during the primary or during those first couple of months of the general, Andrew Gillum went everywhere in this state. Went completely everywhere in this state. Probably more than once. Like, I know people before I started actively getting involved in the election in 2018, I know people that was telling me he had been to Panama City at least 2 times. He had been in Pensacola maybe like once or twice. Like, I know people that were like, yo, like we literally seen Andrew, because Andrew had a team of people that knew, in order to win the state of Florida, in order to win the governor's seat for the state of Florida, it's not just, oh, if we're gonna win North Florida, we gotta win Jacksonville. Oh, if we're gonna win Central Florida, we gotta win Orlando. We definitely gotta win Broward and those little areas of Miami that will accept us. No, you have everywhere. You gotta go everywhere, and you gotta have the tough conversations. And he was willing to have those tough conversations. When are we going to have someone that's willing to A, have the tough conversations, and B, be somebody, as Jill said, that's going to bring everybody? Since the Democrat Party is this big tent party, and we got to have the whole full tent, when are we going to have somebody that's going to be able to bring everybody together? Because the last time that happened, we only lost by 35,000 votes.
And think about, because you're right, everybody else was ready for Gwen Graham to win. For the first time ever, and I tell this story because it was so exciting. For the first time ever, polls closed in the Eastern time zone, and everybody was like calling everybody in the center, like, get your people out, because it's all up to you, it's all up to you, it's all up to you. And I remember getting the call. I don't know who called me, but getting the call. So I knew I was in a meeting. It was priceless in the front, and I'm just sitting there like this because I know he won, and they hadn't called it yet. And those poor people in that room were so sad. I mean, they couldn't even be happy at all because they wanted Gwen Graham so badly. And that's how the Florida Democratic Party was then. They had already set the motion forward that it was going to be Gwen. And when she lost, it was almost like they didn't, either you're right, they didn't try, or they just didn't have it within them. They were so shock-shelled, didn't have no plan. There was never a succession plan of what to do if she doesn't win. How are we going to kick our plan? Like almost like they had already hired the people. They had their whole plan set together, and Gwen loses. So there's nothing. So Andrew and his team are doing what they're doing. They did. It was like, where is the coordinated team? Where's the coordinated team? Why is there no coordinated team? You had a coordinated team for Gwen, but Andrew doesn't have one. All the way, like he said, literally up until about October. And then all of a sudden, the coordinated team comes in. We don't never see Andrew again. Ever. He's in Miami, Duval, in Orlando area, Tampa, and Broward. And then you couldn't miss the fact that Nelson lost by 10,000 and Andrew lost by 30,000, 35,000. You could not miss it. That means Democrats, Republicans, the people of the state of Florida, check the box for the governor who happened to be Caucasian. And when they went to the next box, they said, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And even though Nelson was the top of the ticket, the momentum was Andrew. So it's not like you could say, oh, yeah, they didn't know him, or, like with Charlie, anyway. This was not that candidate. This was a candidate that it gave, and Derek, I don't know where you were, but I'm just telling you, it gave everybody. It was like, this is what we have to do. We have to go do this. We have to set this up. We have to make sure this happens. It was energy. And at that moment, you didn't realize, we should have, you didn't realize, because there were so many people of all backgrounds that loved him. You didn't realize where we really were. But in 2018, on that November day, that night, you absolutely realize that Florida is exactly who Florida has always been, and that having even the best person, as they showed us again in 2024, that if they're Black, they just couldn't do it. Like the color of his skin literally impeded. And because of that, we have freaking DeSantis.
I have family members in Georgia. You know, I'm from y'all all know I'm from Atlanta. I have family members in Georgia who was dealing with a whole similar situation. In 2018, calling me on the phone. Man, it looked like y'all about to put that Black man in office. I'm like, sir and or ma'am, it looked like y'all about to put that Black woman in office. Like, similar situation. And they worried about what we're doing down here. I just want that again. Like that's yeah. I just want that again. And if we being 100% completely honest, which I will be, the two front runners for the Democratic Party for governor in 2026 ain't giving me 2018 feelings. They not.
I was listening to Demings when you was playing that video. There, he has a good speaking voice, but I don't know if he's he's the corporate Democrat or not, or can he escape that corporate Democrats? Because if he can't escape that, he's going to be in big trouble. Because it's, some of these progressive want to give a litmus test to everybody, including Jasmine Crockett on Gaza and all of that, as if she has something to do with Gaza, but that's just some of the things that I think about all the time. How is it if he can't escape that corporate tag that would be tagged to him if he's taking certain, and he's going to need money, ain't no doubt about it. He's going to need money, and that means that if he's not taking money from certain people, that means that the rank and file people, the constituency of Florida, those who are Democrats, have to come up with the kind of money that he's going to need, or the Democrat Party going to need to help put him over. But by the same token, is that video on social media, Derek? Do you know?
Demings? Yes, I pulled it from his Jared Demings for Governor Facebook page.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's on his Facebook page. And that's why I say he needs somebody who has the savvy to.
It's on the Jared Demings for Governor on that page.
Right. But I'm saying, it has to expand much further than his pages. Like Trump them did. Trump them used the media so. Even though it was only indignation that he was spreading, but they used it to their benefit, especially to the young white boys out there. He used the hell out of it on that, and if we can't mimic that, it's some things that they do that we need to take advantage of. We don't have to go their direction, but use their tactics to win. I don't know how y'all feel about it.
Well, so again, for me, where, in my opinion, I remove my Democratic background because this is just dirt. In my opinion, I think that his campaign prioritization and the places that the stops that he's making, in my opinion, are all wrong. Maybe there is some methodology to going to the blue counties and the blue cities so you can gather some money to then travel to the other cities. I don't know. But for me, I would not operate under the guise. If I were Jerry, I would not be operating under the guise that everybody knows who I am because I'm married to God. I would not be operating under the guise that everybody knows who I am because I'm the mayor of Orlando. How many times have you flown into Orlando and maybe seen his face on the airport as you walked out, from your terminal to the baggage claim? I haven't really paid that much attention. Like, I don't know that people know who he is. Like, again, going back to the point, we still have people to this day in Northwest Florida who have absolutely no idea who Val Demings is, right? So if I don't know her, why on God's green earth would I know who her husband? And so to me, you need to be going someplace where the people who don't know can know, especially given the fact that David Jolly has been here 3 times thus far to meet with people, and has already, and this is where, again, I think you talk about, I think it was Jill who talked about, somebody talked about this, the strategy of it all. Right before, was it the day before, Jerry Demings announces, David Jolly gave his announcement for all of the, essentially the black folks on his campaign that he was at. And we have our very own here who have signed up to that campaign. They committed, and they've gotten a lot of traction with faith-based leaders, with the pastors in Escambia County. And it feels like it's already decided, because if they're on board, then congregations are going to be, right? But again, if you want to combat that, then you have to come up. People have to know who you are at some point in time, and it can't be, oh, we're gonna throw you in, and it can't be. And I'm saying this, it can't be, let's go to Escambia and we're good. You got to go to Santa Rosa. You got to go to Okaloosa. You got to go to Walton. Maybe not Walton. I don't know. Maybe Walton. You got to go to Bay, Washington Home. You got to go everywhere. Like, people have got to know who you are. However, I'm going to do my cons, folks. On the con side, for David Jolly, for me, he is, like cut and paste Charlie Chris. I was at a meeting yesterday, and I was listening to these senior non-people of color talk about how enamored they were when they met David Jolly, and he's the real deal, and he's going to save us. And I'm like, based on what? And they were like, well, I don't think I heard his policies, but I'll tell you, when I went up to go speak to him, he said, "Ma'am, what's your name?" And I knew from that moment on, I was going to vote for him. And I was like, so that's all it takes for him to say, "Ma'am, what's your name?" And he's got your vote? Like, that's insane to me. But, like, there are people that are captivated in his campaign. I still don't know what he's going to do, because he hasn't said what he's going to do. But it's like this, I don't know, I don't know what skit it is when there was a skit, I don't know if it's Saturday Night Live or whatever it is, when someone asks a question, they give like these very big verbose words that say nothing, and then you're like, okay, did you answer the question? I'm not sure that I got an answer, And so it's one of those type things. If I move over to Jerry Demings, for me, and this is just me, I can't get over the amount of racists that are in his camp. It's bewildering to me. It befuddles me. I can't get folks who call us niggas riding hard for this man. I don't get it. Like, it does not, those two things don't connect to me. And so it gives me pause. So I'm like, well, what is it that you're saying that they okay to ride with you? I just don't get it. I don't, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think he know, Derek, that these people have used that kind of language?
I doubt that he knows, but I guarantee you probably wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't make a difference at all. He'd still be riding with them and they riding with him. Like, because in a campaign, if you need the votes, you ride with what you're riding with. You're going to take everybody. Like, if they're willing to help you and they have a D behind their name, so be it. But for me, it gives me pause. And how quick they were to support him is just abnormal. Like, I fully expected him to be in the David Jolly camp, because those same people were in the Charlie Crist camp in 2022. So if you're cut and paste Chris, why are you not cut and paste Jolly? You know, what's the difference? I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's for me why. If I could understand that, like, and I saw some of them in their video just grinning hard. Like, they had Jerry Deming sign, and I know I felt like I saw one of the signs that said NIGGER, but maybe I could have been wrong. I could have passed by it. I don't know. It just seemed like it. Thought I saw it, but you know, I don't know. This is where I am. But I like him. I really do like him. That says nothing about who he is. I don't dislike the man. There's nothing about his candidacy that I dislike, because I don't know anything. I just know the people that have attached themselves to him give me pause. Mm-hmm. And that would be the same way I would feel like that for anyone. So, you know, always kind of like birds of a feather, you know, but in this case, I'm confused because it's not birds of a feather, because one is the feather and one's the bird. So I don't get it. Like, it's just one of those things. You know, they don't have to make it make sense to me.
Christina.
Hey, Christina. No, I'll talk after Christina, because, you know, Christina is a Andrew Gillum till she die lady. So not like Kamala. You went from Andrew straight to Kamala.
I did. I don't think folks in our viewing audience know, Jill, how hard you worked to help put Andrew Gillum over the edge, especially here in the Panhandle. I can remember I was still a Florida voter, but I was living in California at the time. And I remember when the polls closed, I remember you got like 50 calls and everybody saying, I hope you did the work that you were supposed to have done, because it was tied when it hit Tallahassee. It was absolutely tied. And it was the Panhandle that pushed Andrew Gillum over. And that had so much to do, Jill, with you, your coordination, you standing true. I mean, you did not give up. And
okay, Christina, I love you, but I just want you to know there was so many of us. It was not Jill. It said, okay, we're going for Andrew, and the team came out. Andrew was just that good. Did we do the work? Absolutely. But I can't take credit for that. I did get the phone calls, and I was like, they're calling us. They're finally calling us. We finally matter. But we felt like we mattered because of Andrew. But I love you, but I can't take that credit. That was all of us. And even from far away, you were sending money so we could get shirts. People were just engaged. We did it together. And there's definitely not that momentum right now. But go ahead.
It wasn't me. Just why.
Because Derek, I don't know where he was. Jamil, you need to talk to your friend. Jerry, where was Derek? Derek was not even in the picture then. Like he was like Andrew Gillum. He came to Pensacola like 4 times, did all these big events. And where were you at home doing what? See? But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kristen.
So, Jamil, when you were talking about the party and stuff, I just remember how incredibly broken. I mean, if you think we're broken now, after the Hillary and Bernie situation, our party was literally in shambles. And it was Andrew Gillum who came in and was able to cross over those divides and bring people from all over. And that was truly beautiful. And it was such an incredible campaign to be able to work on and organize for. And, you know, there was nobody like that. That was actually a moment that was, I really think he may have been the only person to be able to cross that divide, because when I tell you we were broken, I know things are bad now, but the amount of animosity that was in our camps, the amount of just anger was just palatable. It was absolutely horrible. And Andrew was able to bridge that and bring us together, and we were able to go fight for a common vision. And that was just truly, truly, truly remarkable.
I remember Andrew, every time he came, we were there to try to help boost him as much as possible. That because he was awesome. He was awesome because he knew the issues. He knew Florida, and he could speak those issues in that so that people could understand him, what he was talking about, and without equivocation. And Andrew was just awesome. He was just awesome in his ability to deliver what needed to be said at that time, and he did it with excellence. And and he drew people into him all the time when he was speaking. And when he spoke over here on the west side of town, people came from everywhere. You could hardly get a parking space over there. When I think they was expecting a whole lot less. There was a whole lot more people there than they expected to come. But it was really nice over there because me and Omar was on radio together carrying the program. So it was really, it was really really nice to have a person that could deliver like he did, and to bring people out from all over Escambia County and other places that came here to hear him speak, because he was just that good. But it's going to take somebody else like that. But I think that what they call the fever is breaking a little bit in Florida, because when I saw the mayor race in Miami, that was to me that saying to the Republican Party and others that we are tired of your shenanigans now, and because the majority of people there in Miami is Cuban, and so and they've been voting Republicans forever, and for a Democrat to win the first time in 30 years and win with ease almost is almost unheard of, because they just wasn't voting for Democrats. But what's killing me now is some of these so-called progressives. I'm wondering, are they saying they are progressive, and or are they clandestine Republicans or GOP posing as progressive and setting litmus tests for a lot of the Democrats that's running, like Jasmine Crockett and others. And I think we definitely need to talk about that, because she is too great of a sister to be, you know, trying to wheel her down to one subject matter, I would say, one policy issue that, and when she's much more and much better than that. And so I just want to know what y'all think about these progressives that's telling her and others, the same thing they did with Kamala Harris when she ran. It was a litmus test on Gaza. They tied her hand to Gaza and talking about she was a part of the genocide that went on there, and she was not, and they know she was not. But by the same token, a lot of the things that they said and done caused her to be defeated, and along with what was stolen from her. I know people are saying, nah, they want to have the election wasn't stolen. I believe most of that, I believe a big portion of the election was stolen along with people not voting.
Okay, I'm going to say something about that. That's not what I was going to say, though. I don't know whether the election was stolen or not. What I do know is that if it was stolen, then there is not enough backlash. Like, there's not enough upsetness. There's not enough people calling for whatever you would do if you really felt like it was stolen. So I'm not saying it wasn't stolen. I'm just saying I would expect that the same fight we would have if the person that's in the White House right now runs again, that we would be fighting and filing lawsuits and doing anything we can to stop it. That's what would have happened if we truly believed that it was stolen. I think the problem you have is we can't tell if it's stolen, or we just really that the way of Florida is really the way of the states of America, because I've taken the way of the United States because they're just states. But what I was going to say is, do you really feel like, and this, Jamil, you might be the better person to answer this, I don't know, that because you're right, when people say progressives, they always think young people. And I don't think what they thought about Kamala is why Kamala lost. My personal opinion, because my kids are that age. And so that wasn't it. It was all the stuff that was on social media and all the stuff that was going on. It was the momentum and the words that that man that's in the White House said, the lies that he told. But his lies were so believable because he never switched. He didn't do, I'm going to be nice because Christine will jump all over me. But you know how sometimes some other people would say, oh, but I said that, but I didn't mean that, but I did. He didn't say that. I said it, I meant it, I'm going to do this for you. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. Now, he didn't mean any of it, but he never changed. And then they went that dark side and just galvanized them. And I'm trying to figure out, why didn't we know that there was this dark side that you could go to? And he would have millions of people watching this dark side of the web podcast, millions of people. And while we were still over here trying to figure out, are we pissed at Biden for whatever, because pissed at Kamala because she said yes, because we didn't get a vote, we're over here struggling, fooled by the fact that she was bringing in money unlike any other candidate in history. And yet, that still wasn't enough. Because they couldn't vote for a woman, and then she was Black. And so that just took it completely off the table. And it makes me, I think I'm sad, but not broken. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sad because he's a felon. And that's where we went. We went to a felon. We didn't pick somebody else. We picked a felon over her. And yet we can't even let felons vote. They can't this, they can't that, they can't nothing, but he can be president. And then, you had the most qualified candidate and they still said, no, can't do it. Yeah, in their same voices, they'll say, there's no racism. Do you know there's people that still sit here, they'll look you in your face and say, oh, there's racism? I have never experienced racism. Well, you wouldn't if you're not of color. Like, and then to Derek's point, I'm pretty sure that Jerry doesn't know those people. I mean, most people don't, because they run up and down the countryside acting like they're helping, and then they're the voice of the panhandle, so they think, except for when they are in a meeting and need to be a voice and are not a voice because they're in with the person who's wrong. So it's just kind of like pick and choose. But I think it's because one of the higher ups in the used to be Florida Democratic Party was behind them, and they just kind of followed. I think that there's some hope, maybe their relationship with Val. I do have a question though. Why didn't Val run? Why did Jerry run and not Val?
So
only because she had the name recognition, even though she got slaughtered. I'm just saying, why? Why him instead of her?
So in 2022, initially Val was supposed to run for governor. Like that was the direction that they were going in. But then polls started coming out. Polls started showing that that shouldn't be the case. And so Val decided, okay, well, I'm going to shift over and do this Senate situation. And after the way that the results came, so this piece of it is like statistical data fact. After the way that the results came as far as the Senate race, and then this piece is my personal opinion. After the way 2024 happened, I think Val was like, yeah, nah, Jerry, you do it. Yeah, exactly, Christina. Yeah, get somebody else to do it.
Didn't you think that? Because I'm thinking, you know how Obama did his 8 years, and everybody's like, let Michelle run, let Michelle run. And he was like, there's no way I'm letting my wife go through this. When you think she'd be like, Jerry, say, Mayor, we're good.
Because patriarchy is the name of the game. Patriarchy is the name of the game. So now, if it was the other way around, and Jerry went through everything that Val went through in 22, and then Val's like, in 26, Jerry, I'm gonna run for governor. Jerry probably would have been like, no, tell the FDP to get somebody else to do it. Because okay, so you know, I have my podcast and quick spill, BLK FLA the podcast. That's what we are on all social media. Go check it out. It's a great podcast. So our first episode of the second season, the hosting team of BLK FLA the podcast is myself, Hale Morissette, Natasha Sutherland, who is the executive director for Florida Watch, which is what we like to call the communications department of the state of Florida and progressive organizations. And of course, y'all friend of mine, State Representative Angie Nixon. So that's the hosting team of BLK Affiliated Podcast. We were on our first episode, and one of the things that we did was which is going to win out. When at the time, the conversation for the Republican side of things was Byron Donald or Casey DeSantis. We was like, which one is going to win out? Is misogyny going to win out, or is race going to win out? Because if misogyny wins out, then Byron Donald is the presumptive nominee. If race wins out, then Casey is running the show. And apparently corruption went out because, $10 million. So there's that. And we don't talk about, like how we don't talk about Bruno on Encanto, we don't talk about Casey in the Republican Party. So like there's that. But no, that was the conversation. And that was the conversation not just between the four of us and the guests that we had on that episode. That was conversation between a lot of organizers in the state of Florida. It was like, which one gonna win out? Is racism gonna win out, or is misogyny going which was which? Because it was like they really was pushing Casey up. Like how Turning Point is pushing up Erica Kirk, to be this person. And so, yeah, no, like, why didn't Val run? Because misogyny and patriarchy is the name of the game. It still is. And anybody who tells us different, it's especially higher ups in the FDP, they're lying. They're lies. It's the reason why we have certain individuals who are Black and women or Black and femme who aren't even considering running for governor of Florida and would be 10 times better candidates than the list of people that they've given us right now.
So, but do you think, Jamil, interview, do you think there is a crack in the fever is breaking a little bit in Florida? Do you think that, were you optimistic at all, Jill?
You went to me because of what I said before. I think yes and no. So I like the Jamil. Yeah, I think it is. I would have felt for real if the mayor in Miami was Black and they'd have done that. I'm not sure. What are you looking like that for?
Listen, I just want to make sure I hear you clearly. When you said yes, you think the fever is breaking, but I don't.
The fever is breaking, but not the way we need it. I mean, yes, there's momentum. So are the people saying we're winning? So you got to give credit somewhere. We are winning, but
in places that we always win.
You were to put Kamala back into this right now, we still would be in the same place. So to me, no. So that's why I said yes, but no. Because if you put her right back there now, she still would lose. So that's not enough break for me to say yes all the way. But I
want to know, but this is the thing I want to address with you, Derek, because Derek is like, like Derek. I feel like Derek is being the realist, but also Derek should also have a tinge of optimism. Because
that was me, Jamil. Let me just clarify, because you weren't on here. Because I was like, no, it's not happening. That's why they can't believe I said yes, a little bit of yes. Because I was like, there's no way. Because Jerry believes we're taking back the house, we're doing all this stuff. So we were like,
no, because let's be clear on this. Like, it was only 1,100 votes that separated, gave from Petronas in April. And them 1,100 votes was sitting in Okaloosa County. So, like, let's be serious. Like, before there was a talk of Orlando City Council is now completely blue, and Miami got their first Democratic mayor in over 28 years. The talk, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being facetious just because this area of the state is where I'm from. This is facts. The talk for like the first, after April, May, June, and July, the talk was, how did Escambia County flip? That was the talk. Like, that was the real conversation. And the thing that people don't know and realize, it's due to every single person that's on this broadcast, and like 2 or 3, 4 other people who not on this broadcast, that we all like, literally, like, it's the people that we are looking at right now on this broadcast, along with Hale Morissette, Jonathan Gary Green, Dondre Wise. I know I'm leaving some other names out, but them just the people I know because I hang with them and talk to them every single day, along with y'all. I aim to talk to y'all every other week, and if I don't talk to Christina every other week, I feel like I talk to Christina every other month. But like, this is it. This is the nucleus that almost gave the Panhandle, as you know, as they like to say, a blue wave. Because, like, I be telling people all the time, 1,100 votes. That's a block. That's a city block in Fort Walton Beach. That separated us from having gay in office.
Yep. And this is where I say, well, I can't use it for gay. Well, I guess I can. No, I'll use it. But I'll use it in Dondre's race. Dondre's race is what I use. Dondre lost by what, like 700 some odd votes. And this is when, to your point, the Panhandle is making progress. But we got this big ass wall that's got a brand, that's got an R, and that stands for racism, because we have a group of white Democrats that won't help Black Democrats and or won't vote for white Democrats, right?
Because let's talk about that. Let's talk about how 2024 they didn't want to put Hill Morset in office. Let's talk about how this year they didn't want to put Dondre Wise in office.
Right. They won't do it. And so we could be much further along. And I hear what Jill is saying about us, like Democrats are winning in the state of Florida. However, I take exception with giving a child a gold star because he woke up and went to school. Like, you're supposed to go to school, so why am I bigging you up for going to school? That's what you're supposed to do. And so I liken that to say Orange County being blue isn't like a way to go. You know, it certainly, in my opinion, doesn't deserve a half hour or hour podcast with former DNC chair Jamie Harrison on how they're doing great things. You're a blue county. You're supposed to be blue. You're supposed to elect Democrats. Whoop-de-doo. Like, I don't, okay. Like, why are y'all talking about that? That's what you're supposed to do. Miami-Dade, a little bit of an exception, but historically they've been blue, although that seat, the mayoral seat, has not been a blue seat. So it is a little bit of an accomplishment. But again, they have hundreds of thousands of Democrats. We don't have that in Northwest Florida. We don't have that in Escambia County. We don't have it in Santa Rosa County. We don't have it in Okaloosa County. But yet, and I want to preface this. Let me go back and say, I don't want anybody to think that I am jealous because they had a whole DNC. Jamie Harrison had a conversation with Samuel about the wonderful things that they're doing in Orange County. It's not that. It's just that I don't get, like, to me, it's hard for me to hear people talk about, like, taking advice from Democratic county chairs on how to win seats. You're a blue county. You can't tell me anything because you don't have opposition. You're not coming from an underdog status. You're supposed to do, like, I would much rather sit in a class from you to figure out how you lose your seats than for you to tell me how to win a seat, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So
these are the two things I kind of like. Really, these are the two things I always like. Well, not two things. Yeah. But I'll say, 2 things. These are the things I always think about when it comes to the progress that we've made in the Panhandle versus the progress they're supposed to make in Orange County. Because I always have to think of things not from a party perspective. I have to think of things from a Black perspective. Hence the name of the org I work for. Yeah. What's the number 8 county with the highest percentage of Black population in the state of Florida?
Escambia.
Number.
Why do I know that? Why do I know that and you don't? But it is.
I knew it. I just you
Didn't say
beat me
fast
to it. I
enough.
saw you.
When I hit the
I
buzzer
saw you
first, Jerry.
take
You
off
saw
your
it.
blue. I was
I
like,
hit
go
it.
ahead
It's
and
not.
answer, big dog. Since
What
you've been
is
here since 2018, do
You know
your
what? It's
thing.
not.
Right.
what is the number 10 county with the highest percentage of Black population in the state of Florida?
Santa Rosa? Oh, please.
Huh?
I don't know.
Orange.
I was gonna say it is
Oh,
Santa
Orange,
Rosa or Okaloosa.
Orange is
We're
tied.
like number
Orange is
45.
tied. Yeah.
so
Orange is
wait, are you
tied
saying we
with
have more Black folks than Orange County does?
Yes.
percentage wise.
Well,
Yep.
percentage wise. Okay. Well,
Orange is tied with Union County as the 10th largest county with the percentage of Black. Y'all know this. I gotta know this because of the job.
wow.
So yeah, like the reason we're making progress is because the actual people who live in the county are starting to come out. That's evident from what happened. That's evident from what happened last week at the city council meeting. They coming out, and it's not just the usual suspects that's coming out. So now it goes back to another thing that I said last week, which was in order for us to start really getting everyone out, not just to vote, but to be civically engaged, we have to focus on issues now. We can no longer have these conversations about y'all need to go vote for so-and-so, y'all need to go vote for this person, y'all need to go vote for that person. What are the issues that you care about? And when you walk in that voting booth, that's what you're voting for.
Right.
And you've already done your research ahead of time to know the person that you're going to vote for, because that person is going to advocate for the issues that you care about.
So what I would say to that is I've been saying for years that Escambia County was flippable. Been saying it for years. Everybody laughed at me. That's why Derek's leadership was so imperative, because Derek's leadership engaged the population that was being ignored by previous Democratic leaders. That's why Derek is so transformative, and he shows up, he's consistent, the doors are open. He is just that good of an organizer and that good of a leader, and he gives a crowd, and he shows up in the communities where it matters and people respond. That's why we are where we are in Escambia County. And I would say it's truly on the failure of some of the previous leadership that failed to go out into communities, that failed to speak up, that failed to take notice of the issues. And so, yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I'll say it's a team. I will say, to the point, I hear you. I think I'm gonna ride for my predecessor, right? I think she did a great job. She was just tied down with folks who were wanted something completely opposite. They wanted to focus on scenic highway folks and East Hill. Not that they don't deserve to be focused on, but you cannot do so at the to the point where you're generating the Black constituency, especially now when they are the largest voting bloc.
Exactly. Now the other piece to this is and you probably know this already, where do the majority of Black people that live in Escambia County, where do they live at?
Live in District 3, Urban 4.
But a good chunk of portion of them live in the area where Mr. Jerry lives at. Like a lot of them live on the outskirts. A lot of them live in Cantonment. A lot of them live in that area. And the conversation that we need to start having now from a county perspective is, how do we go out and have the conversations with them. Because a lot of times people just want to make sure that we stay within city limits when we're having conversations with Black people and Black voters within Escambia County, because it's safer to stay within Pensacola. It's safer to stay within the west side of Pensacola, where where Real Women Radio building used to be at, not where it is now. Like, it's safer to stay in those areas. But going out to Cantonment, going out to the rural areas of Escambia County is also going to be key in order for us to really, really, really fully flip Escambia County the way that we need to.
I agree. I always used to say that we don't, for the life of me, even before I got engaged, you never saw, like, there are a swath of Black folks that live in Warrenton and Point Southwest, right? But no one ever talks to those folks in Escambia County. Like, I've never seen folks knocking doors, or even in Warrenton. We've got to be able to, your point, have those conversations with Cantonment, with all Point South, because that is a large community of folks out there that we don't touch. We touched them in the special election. We did a lot out there. But to your point, our strategy has to be all inclusive and not just, the area in which we are in our headquarters. It's not, we got a plan.
Derek, the reason I was, I'm somewhat optimistic about Florida in the country. Before you didn't have, people didn't believe that they was going to dismantle education. They didn't believe that they was going to dismantle the environment protection agencies. They didn't believe that they would turn back the clock on the subsidies for insurance and turn back the clock where people with pre-existing condition can't even afford to buy insurance, and that insurance would triple. People didn't believe that. A lot of people didn't believe it, or they did believe it and thought it wasn't going to bother them. That 600,000 people would be dead because of USDA aid around the world now, and moving fast each and every day toward 1 million or so people that's dying, malnutrition, starvation, and dying in birth, and when the mother is trying to deliver a baby, dying from that. This is what's happening in the Congos, in Sudan, where where nobody's trying to organize peace rallies, peace treaty between the two generals there who are slaughtering the people of Sudan, where they are running away hundreds of thousands of people living out in the elements with no privacy or no medicine or food and all that. So it's just a whole host of things that I think people are beginning to see now, that what Martin Luther King said, what directly affect me will indirectly affect you, because we are all tied together in a single garment of destiny. So when we start starving people to death, and some people are paying attention to that, when hospitals are closing in rural areas, and you're right, Jamil, because Century is a part of Escambia County, but we are not. We very seldom go there to Century.
That was the other city I was thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah. And we didn't believe that the Food and Drug Administration would be dismantled. The CDC would be dismantled to the point where people's lives are in danger, because medicine and information about medicine, information on vaccines and vaccines itself are being cut off from the people of America. And a lot of the people who voted for Trump or the people that's being deported, because they didn't want to deal with the idea of a Black leadership. And when it was us, is the reason they are here in the first place, because of the struggles of the 60s, that came about during the civil rights movement. They didn't realize that their rights would be taken as well, that they would be separate. This America has always separated families, especially Black families, but now they are doing it to other people, like people from Mexico, like people from Venezuela, and others in South America and all of that. As families are being torn asunder, sent to different places where they never existed at before, put into prisons where they have committed no crime, except they came to America looking for a better life. But, they didn't realize that it was based on the back of Black people was the reason they was here. Even some of the people from Africa who come here and criticize Black people about how they, how good they doing. I'm like, well, why are you here? If you come here to criticize us, if you do, we don't need to hear from you. We don't need to hear nothing you got to say, because you haven't studied history. Your mind is more colonized than ours ever will be. So, but that's the kind of mentality that's in the in the zeitgeist. I guess that they are putting out there, and it's because how they've been what you call psychologically colonized as well, through all kinds of crap that colonizer has put in their head about us in America. So, okay, there it is. It's 2 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna let you have it, Derek. You're on mute though.
Want to make sure you get your book reviews.
Okay, that's right. Oh, 2 books I've already. I hope that people have read. If not, Asa G. Hillary, The Maroon Within Us, and Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. So we want to, these are the books. I hope I had them up for good enough. Stolen Legacy. Make sure that you grab and read this book. It'll tell you about the history of how Africa was undeveloped. How Africa was undeveloped. I have to excuse me, I ain't got one vocal, and that's the other one that got old.
Well, we certainly want to make sure that everybody knows we will not be here next week, but we will be back beginning the first of the year, around the 4th of January. So we want to make sure that everybody has a phenomenal Christmas, an even better New Year. Most importantly, be safe. We want to thank Jamil for joining us tonight. Please know that you have an open invitation to join us whenever you like. You have the link, so just feel free to pop in. No invitation needed whatsoever. We thank you guys. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, and all of the things. And we will see you in the new year. Take care.
Have a great night.
Good night.